I'm the big man on campus. We're talking college basketball. I figured great night to do it. We got a pretty mediocre NFL football game, so I felt like why not come on and do a college basketball talk, a little college football or college basketball Q&A, get into the season spirit, start talking college hoops. I hope everyone had a great day. Hope you made some money in the NFL, whatever you did. Hope you did it and made some money. Over the next little bit here, we'll go over some teams, we'll go over some games, we'll go over some futures, all sorts of different things as we get ready for college basketball. College basketball is, about 20 days away, and we're not very far. Season starts November 5th, so it's a very exciting time, and now's the time to kind of start talking about it, start getting into the swing of things. And start realizing that that is where to make the money. Many of you know that's my kind of bread and butter, college basketball, and I'll try to educate you, give you some pointers, things to look for. Before we get into it, though, I want to say hello to anyone that's checking the show out, anyone that's watching it live, anyone that's watching the reruns. I try to do this. I try to do it the easiest way possible. This is a great avenue to share information. So hopefully people will check this out live and people will check it out after the fact as well. I want to get into some things tonight, and I'll go over some questions here in a little bit. Feel free to ask them as you jump in here. If you have a question you want to bring up, just say it and I'll get to it. But I want to go over some things before I get to those questions. And I got a lot of Twitter questions that I want to get to, so we'll get to all those. But before we get into it, obviously, I think, we always focus on a lot of the big schools, Duke, Kentucky, Kansas, Michigan, North Carolina. Again, do some of your due diligence now. Take the time now to go and find those conferences that maybe aren't as looked at, maybe aren't as spent time on, and go and find those and get those and figure out how to beat those conferences. This year, you're going to be able to bet on everything. As last year, you could bet on all the conferences. You could bet on the Big South. You could bet on the Atlantic Sun. Many people ask me all the time, how do you know so much about college basketball? Because I sit here and I learn about college basketball. I watch games. I watch how teams play. I watch the schematics of those teams and how they play against man, who plays zone, who runs a pack line defense. There's so much info. There's so much to really understand, and this is a 365-day-a-year business. I'm always looking at the transfer markets. I'm always looking at coaches that have moved on. Make sure you're doing your due diligence. A lot of people just come into college basketball and say, "Oh, let's start betting." Those are the people that generally get beat up and have a lot of trouble in college basketball. I've talked about some of my favorites this year as far as who will win the national title. Obviously, I'm very high on Duke. I'm very high on North Carolina. And if you know me, I already bet those teams from a futures perspective. But I really wanted to do kind of a Q&A. I got plenty of questions on Twitter, which I'll get to, and try to give you guys some value. A couple of things before we get into those, though. Teams to keep your eye on, especially if you want a really deep sleeper. My advice with sleepers and with futures, make sure you're looking at deeper odds. Don't be looking at just the 10 to 1s and the 15 to 1s. Go deeper. Find a team that's 90 to 1. Find a team that's 200 to 1. Those are the teams where if you can get them to the Elite Eight or the Final Four, you could begin hedging and make guaranteed profit. I've talked ad nauseum about Xavier. I think Xavier is terrific. I can't wait for this team. I'm so excited for them coming back here. And you look at a team that could challenge in the Big East, if it's Villanova or Creighton, I'm looking at Xavier. I think this is the third best team, possibly second best team in this conference. I have them as a top 25 team coming into the season. And you look at what they bring back, obviously Quentin Gooden, Paul Scruggs at the guard, Najee Marshall, the do-it-all forward, Tyreek Jones, the big, 6'9". He's going to bring back 8 boards a game. It's a good rebounding team. That's one thing that Travis Steele's team can really do, and that's rebound. They also welcome in Jason Carter, a transfer out of Ohio. He's the guy that's going to give them 10 to 15 points a game. He offers them a nice big. This is a deep team, a team that can defend. They really can do it all, and they came on really good towards the end of the season. I think a lot of that comes into this season. And you see a Xavier team that I think is Final Four caliber good. But I want to look at some other ones. Deep sleepers. A team that I have my eye on, Harvard, at 150 to 1. I think Harvard is a team you got to start paying attention to. This is a really good team coming back. This is a team that I think not only will get to the tournament, but I think it's going to win some games and make a run. They welcome back everybody from last year. They have really one of the better starting fives you'll find. Seth Towns is a terrific player. Bryce Aiken can score with anybody in the country. They have bigs that can handle it on the block. They're well coached with Tommy Amaker. And you look at how much he's went into the just kind of the star recruiting. I mean, you look at on this team, they're averaging about 3 stars a player. I mean, these are good players. These are good recruits coming in for an Ivy League team. This team has a lot of value. They're going to get to the tournament. This is not a great Ivy League this year. Yale's down. They're obviously without Mia Ioni. And you look at, other teams, Penn's going to be good, but I think this is another level type team, Harvard. And I think not only can they get to the tournament, I think they can make some noise. Jason Finlay, I guess I'm in the wrong room. Yeah, we're not talking NFL here. This is a basketball chat, which it kind of states there. We'll talk NFL tomorrow. So if you have any college basketball questions, feel free to send them in. A lot of people already sent those in on the Twitter verse. So let's get to those. Let's start talking about them. Let's start getting after it, and let's start finding some value here. Let's go to Twitter here. Boy, this is a shitty NFL game, isn't it? 14-0 already. Wow. All right, let's talk here. Let me start at the top. We got Sean Money. Is Syracuse anyone anymore? I don't know if they're not anybody. They're not a team that I'm looking to bet on or be interested in. I wonder with Syracuse where the offense comes from. This is a team that I think is going to have major trouble scoring the basketball. You lost a lot of talent from last year's team. Obviously, Tyus Battle, O'Shea Brissett, Pascal Chukwu, Frank Howard. You look at coming back. I mean, who can really score on this team, really, outside of Elijah Hughes? I mean, there's not much here. This is a team defensively that won't be as good with guys like Battle not there. I'm not bullish on them. I don't think this is a particularly good team. And I think this is a conference that is obviously very good, 1 through 7, 1 through 8. Syracuse is going to get beaten up. I don't think anyone's going to go into that dome and be very scared about it. I'm not really too concerned about it. What was your NCAA record last year? I don't know. I was a couple units in the positive. But again, last 2 years I've just destroyed it. But yeah, I had a winning year. I mean, it wasn't like the year before, but I was in the money, and that's all that matters. What about this from Tug Money? What about some teams that will likely change pace from last year, either due to coaching changes or personnel changes? Wow. Well, I think a team like South Dakota State's going to have to change their stripes a little bit. They're a team that I think a lot of people bet on. There are a lot of people love them just because of guys like Mike Dahm. But this is a different basketball team. Mike Dahm is gone now. Mike Dahm is onto greener pasture. So they're going to have to obviously switch some things up. They have a new coach, and T.J. Otzelberger's gone. They're going to have to obviously fix that as well. This is a team that's going to go through some growing pains. Obviously, Eric Henderson coming in, the new coach. You look at this team. Where's the scoring going to come from? There's not a lot here to get excited about early outside of Brandon Key and a few others. So they're a team that's going to have to kind of change their stripes a little bit. They're not going to be able to go as fast. They're going to have to defend a little bit better. They don't have the scoring punch that they did. So they're kind of a team that I think about that is definitely going to have to change their stripes. The injury of Brian Antoine of Nova was a huge loss for them. They certainly have enough talent remaining to compete, though. After Seton Hall and Nova, what teams do you see battling? Well, first of all, I don't think Seton Hall battles for anything. Seton Hall is what they are. They're a team that gets to the tournament generally, and they lose in the first game. And that's no different from what this team is. We look at a couple years ago, they had a team with Desi Rodriguez and Angel Delgado. That was the best team they've ever had at Seton Hall. And this is a team that I don't think is as good as that one. They're going to have to get Miles Powell to have one of those big-time games in March for them to even win a game. They just seem to kind of fizzle out when you get to the tournament. Do I think they can challenge and win the Big East? Sure. But this is a really good conference this year. As far as who will compete in the Big East outside of Nova, obviously I think Creighton. Anytime you have a Greg McDermott team here, you obviously have to get excited. I wonder, though. I mean, they don't have a particularly great front court. They're very guard-oriented. They're going to score a ton of points, Creighton. Question is, can they defend when it really matters? And do they have the front court to handle, Villanova or Xavier? I mentioned Xavier. I think they're a team that obviously will compete. Obviously Marquette. I mean, how can you not like Marquette with Marcus Howard? They do lose the Hauser twins, which hurts. They use a jack of all trades and Chartunoy off the bench. And I don't really trust Wojciechowski as a coach. So, obviously they'll be in the mix, but I don't think they're a viable candidate to really do much. So, yeah, for me, I think it's definitely Xavier for sure as far as who would challenge Villanova. Thoughts on the turnaround Chris Mack has done at Louisville, and how do you think they'll live up to this year's expectations? I think they're going to live up just fine to the expectations. I think obviously, anytime there's a lot of, press and talk about a team, it's always a concern. But they are as deep as anyone in the country. They bring back one of the most experienced rosters in the country. They also have some guys that, I think are really great newcomers. A guy like Sam Williamson, a 6'7" freshman who a lot of people are talking about, kind of resembles Jason Tatum a little bit. They're bringing in Lamar Kimball from St. Joe's to play point guard. Can he be that point guard they need him to be? Obviously, Darius Perry will challenge to win that job as well. But Jordan Nwora is one of the great players we have in this, nation. Malik Williams is a do-it-all guy. They're deep. There's not much to not like about Louisville. I have them number 2 in the country coming into the season. The question is, can Kimball grab the reins and be the point guard they need him to be? This guy can score. This guy can do a lot of things. The question is, can he stay healthy and can he assume that responsibility? But I think they're going to handle the pressure just fine. There's experiences you can want and need on a team, and they have plenty of depth. So I think Chris Mack has done an unbelievable job. I think he's one of the great coaches in the country. The most undervalued team from an NCAA championship future standpoint. Undervalued team. Well, I'm going to keep saying it, Xavier. I think they're as exciting as I can be for a team. Look, I think UNC. This price is to me kind of crazy for them. I think to get 15-1 on UNC, I think they're surely a Final Four candidate. I don't know who's going to stop this team offensively. They're as good as it gets. I mean, they have a guy, Cole Anthony, who could be the best player in the country this year. They have just talent up and down this roster. They're oozing with talent. They're going to be unbelievable offensively. It wouldn't surprise me if they score 90 points a game. I think they're that good. Defensively, I think they're better than people think. With guys, like Leaky Black and guys like that. I love North Carolina. I think they have a lot of value, and I think they're a little underrated. To be honest, the fact that Memphis is got lower odds than North Carolina is pretty wild to me. I think they're pretty undervalued. I think Ohio State's kind of undervalued in the market. A lot of people are kind of forgetting about them just because Michigan State's so good. But this Ohio State team, Wesson brothers are really good. They have a new point guard, C.J. Walker from Florida State. He's a real good player. That's a really good price on them, 40-1. Couple other undervalued teams. I mentioned Harvard. I think they're a team that I'm definitely going to make a move on at 150-1. Xavier at 90-1. I'll tell you another team that's really interesting, UCLA. A lot of people aren't really talking about them for some reason. And, Mick Cronin is a much better coach than what Steve Alford was. So, I mean, and then, whoever the guy that was the coach last year, the assistant coach. I mean, there is a lot of talent on this team for UCLA. I mean, Tiger Campbell and Prince Ali at guard, Cody Smith, Cody Riley, and Jalen Hill. Then you got Sharif O'Neal coming off the bench. I mean, if this team can figure it out as far as, kind of coming together and playing, all together and with chemistry, there are athletes all over this team. And if he can get this team, and that's what's so tough about this team is, can you get this group into playing defense? Because defense at UCLA has been optional. How quick is the Cronin culture change going to come at UCLA? If it comes, I don't think it's out of the question to think they can make an at-large push. I mean, they have talent here. So keep an eye on that group. A couple of comments here on the chat. Robbie Tops, thanks for watching. Nick, thanks for watching. James, Bully, Joe, Jason, perfect. With 3-point line pushed back, do you see more unders? Do I see more unders? No, because I think what happens is these kids are just becoming better shooters. They're taking more threes. So no, I don't think it's gonna matter too much. When does the season start? It starts November 5th. Sleeper team in a Pac-12. Definitely going to be UCLA, as I said. Very excited for that conference. Let's keep it going with questions here. How big of an addition is Terrell Allen in year 7 for the Hoyas? I think it's I think they're pretty big additions, obviously. And he's talking about Georgetown. Georgetown's an interesting team. They're another team in that Big East that are exciting to think about. There's a ton of talent here. I mean, Akinjo and McClung are really good. Your 7's going to give them a really good low post option. He's a better defender than what Jesse Govin was. You have some real talent on the bench here as well. Jamorko Pickett, and you mentioned Terrell Allen as well. Terrell Allen was a terrific player at UCF, really good guard, kind of a water bug defender. I love this kid. And Yurt 7's going to they'll get the most out of him because of Patrick Ewing. Ewing knows how to deal with these big guys. They have 2 good guards. The problem that Georgetown's going to have is, can McClung and Akinjo defend at a high enough level? Because they're not exactly, big guys. They're only 6 foot and 6'2". To defend, and someone just mentioned the 3-point arc. These guys aren't particularly long defenders. That could be a concern. Terrell Allen also very small. So, that quickness, that length to kind of bother those kind of guys is going to hurt. I don't know if they can defend at a high enough level. They love to go in transition. They love to go up tempo. They'll be a good offense, but are they going to get the best out of their defense? I'm not so sure. Any sleepers in Conference USA? Yeah, it's a good conference. My favorite team in that conference is West Kentucky. They're another team that I really like from an at-large perspective. But again, I also think they're going to win this conference. Charles Bassey is one of the best players in the country. They're stacked coming back. They have some guys that, as far as from a depth perspective, are going to be really good. And they're well coached. I mean, Stansbury's done a nice job there. They're probably a sleeper as far as in the country. Sleepers in that conference, definitely UTEP. I think what UTEP does is interesting. They're bringing back some new guys, new transfers. They actually beat Texas Tech recently in a exhibition game, so that's definitely an exciting thing. La Tech's a good team with Daquan Bracey. Conference USA is a good conference. Obviously, we remember Middle Tennessee State. Is there a team like that in this conference? Yeah, I think there is. I think West Kentucky's that team. I didn't know about this stream, but happy to catch it. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I get fucking DMs all the time about college basketball. And then when I do these shows, it's like people, like, for whatever reason, would rather watch, like, some shitty NFL game. It's weird. This show doesn't get the same, like I do other shows like the NFL shows and the Right Side of Campus and that kind of thing. And they get obviously much better reception. I feel like these college basketball shows that I do where I just kind of take questions, I would think they'd be more, interested for people, but for whatever reason, people just don't come into them. People don't get interested in college basketball, I think, till like Halloween. It's kind of weird. But we'll do it for the people that are here, and hopefully people will check it out. It's just kind of to have some discussions and to get thinking about college basketball. This is a point from Twitter. Campbell will be a good fade early in the year. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I mean, Chris Clemens is gone. He's not coming back. So whenever you lose a player like that, it's pretty tough. Are the key numbers in college basketball you look for? Not really. I mean, you like for teams to get up by more than 7, late in games. It's obviously 3 possessions, but I don't know. I mean, not really. I mean, I guess when you have a number at 1.5 or lower, I'm generally playing the money line there. But I don't think there are key numbers like in football, no. Will the Hoyas make the big dance? I don't know. I think if they can defend at a high level, I don't think there's a reason to think that they can't be, towards the top half of the conference. But I don't know if they're good enough defensively. I hope they do. I mean, I like what they have here, and I think they have some really nice pieces. But it'll all depend on how good they play defense, because on the surface, this just doesn't look like a very good defensive team. Is Liberty making a run back to the tournament? Yes, 100%. Liberty will win the Atlantic Sun. They're the best team in this conference, and it's not close. Lipscomb was gutted last year. North Florida will be solid, but Liberty, it's their conference. They'll roll. It wouldn't surprise me if they don't lose a game in this conference. Holmesley and Scotty James are terrific. They're well coached under Richie McKay. I think their Liberty is a really good kind of team to look out for in March. They're going to win a game or two. You can definitely bank on that. In fact, they won one last year. What else do we have here? Couple comments. Big man, do you like Sugar House? Do I like Sugar House? It's okay. I mean, when I go to Philly, I go to South Philly, and I can go to the Turf Club. So yeah, I mean, I go to Sugar House. Definitely during the winter, I go up there when I go to Temple games, and I put bets in. I don't hate it. I mean, Sportsbook's really not that big. It's kind of a dingy place, but I don't mind it. No. What's the best conference? Big Ten, Big East, or ACC? I don't know. Probably the ACC. I mean, Duke, Virginia, UNC, Louisville, Notre Dame. I mean, they're all really good. So, yeah, I would definitely say the ACC is the best conference. Yellow Jesus, what's up? Indiana could be a sleeper. A lot of depth inside and a few experienced guards. What do you think? Unfortunately, there's just a big log jam, in the Big Ten. And I think Indiana's do I think you said, what did you say here? You think they're going to be a sleeper? I mean, maybe a deep sleeper, but I'm not real interested in Indiana. I mean, how can I be? I mean, their offense blows. They're just a boring team. I mean, they're going to sit in the half court and try to defend. They can't shoot. I don't, and again, I mean, now they lose, they lose Romeo Langford. So I don't really see it. I mean, they're big, but you gotta have guys that get them the ball, and I'm not sure that they have that. And plus, I mean, there's probably 8 teams that are better than they are. Obviously Michigan State, Ohio State, Maryland, Purdue are all better than them. Michigan's better than them. Illinois is better than them. Wisconsin's better than them. Iowa's better than them. So, yeah, Indiana ain't going to do much for me. Am I going to be backing Lipscomb this year? No, they're a totally different team. Garrison Matthews is gone. They have a new coach. Kenny Cooper's gone. I mean, you know, Rob Marbury graduated. Yeah, I'm not going to be back in Lipscomb. Not much at all. Will Gonzaga run through the WCC this year? Yeah, I mean, is the sky blue? I mean, that's pretty much normal, per usual. How do I feel about Niagara this year? I mean, I don't really feel any sort of waivers about Niagara. Are they going to win this conference? No. I mean, there's not much to like about them, to be real honest. So, no, I don't. How do I feel about them? I don't feel anything about them. It'll be interesting to see what Patrick Beeline has, though, as a coach. Is he anything like his dad? One of their assistants, I believe, is Greg Paulus, which is interesting. I don't know much about this team. There's a lot of young players on this team. I only think they have one senior on their roster, which is definitely a concern. Young. I like minutes continuity. I don't know if they have that. Wait till the season starts. Yeah, I know, but I'm just wanting to talk college basketball. A dark horse in the Big Ten. A dark horse? I'd probably say Michigan. Michigan is really interesting with obviously the coaching prowess that comes in, Phil Martelli and Howard Isley, and obviously Jawan as their new head coach. The Teskey and Simpson duo is going to be fun to watch. Can Franz Wagner be anything like his brother? They need some depth. Can Livers or Eli Brooks give them some depth? Colin Castleton, someone like that. I think Michigan defensively would be really good. It's a question of can they score enough in a half court? Because that's kind of a problem for them, I feel like. They don't return one double-digit scorer from last year. This team's going to win a lot of games in the low 60s, high 50s. But I like them. They're going to slow you down. They're going to fucking defend. Do I like KU this year? For sure. I think they have the best big in the country. They're really stacked at every position. They're a top 5 team for sure. Yeah, I don't see it, dude. I mean, again, if you want to just list defensive players that you think they have, I mean, that's cool and all. I mean, you can name Josh LeBlanc. Okay, that's fine. I don't disagree with you, but the players that are going to play a lot aren't great defenders. So, that's kind of your issue there. All the players you named, they're basically bench players. McClung and Akinjo are the starting guards. They're not good defenders. It's just that simple. I don't want to hurt your feelings or anything. I just, you basically named a lot of, depth chart players. Is March Madness a Christmas month? Yeah, March is great. 100%. Going to try to kind of get together some kind of meetup in Atlantic City this year. Again, you're going to have to get there, but I'll be there. I'm going to try to figure out something with one of the hotels, see if I can, we have a shore house. I'm going to see if I can get some sort of package deal. I have a connect that can kind of get events scheduled. So, obviously, maybe don't make any plans for maybe that first week of the tournament. I'll try to maybe figure out a way I can get people in. I mean, we're obviously a long way away, but I would love to get some kind of meetup. If we can get 10, 20 people to come, that'd be cool. We could all hang and watch games and just to hang out for a couple days. Maybe that Thursday or that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday or something, or the entire weekend. I'm actually I've been giving a lot of thought to like what I want to do, kind of, and where I want to live. I obviously want to leave where I'm at. I've been really thinking about Atlantic City. That's definitely kind of been my next move, I think. So I'm hoping I'm down there by then, living there. So I'll be there every day regardless. So if we can figure something like that out, I think that would be totally fun. All right. What else do we have here? Do I think Grand Canyon can make the tournament? Of course I do. I think they're a sleeper. I think they have a really good roster. I mean, they went out and got a ton of transfers, man. I really like that team. Jalen Fisher is obviously the key. Yes, that Jalen Fisher that played at TCU. Um, they play a lot of pick and roll. They have a really good roster. I love that team, John Nelson. I think they can definitely make the tournament. New Mexico State will get in the way, but it's going to be a good battle all year. Is Davidson tournament worthy? Yeah, they are for sure. They bring everybody back. Axel Goodmanson and Grady are terrific. Those two and just themselves are enough. And they have one of the best coaches in the country in Bob McKillop. The best bet for the worst teams in the country. Teams off the top of my head, Idaho is going to be terrible. Cornell, they're a really bad team. Cornell is just, I feel bad for Cornell. I don't know where the points are going to come from. SWAC teams, big, MEAC teams. We'll have to kind of figure that out by the season. Who wins the Ivy League this year? Harvard, definitely. Big man, what are your thoughts on Ole Miss improving this year? I mean, improving how? I mean, do I think they get to the tournament? They should. I mean, Brian Terry is a really good player. I'm not as high on them as other people, but with Schuler and Tyree in the lineup, they're a really good offensive team. Problem is, those two aren't particularly good defenders. But Kermit Davis is a really good player, or a really good coach, I mean. And they don't defend the three-point line well. That was one thing they really struggled with last year. Another team that has a very small guards. They can't get out and guard the three-point line. You have guards, you want them 6'3", 6'4". You want guards that are big. You want guards that can handle the three-point line, especially if you're in a conference that loves to shoot the three. But yeah, I like Ole Miss. I think they're definitely a team that can make the tournament, and I think they will. They have a good enough starting five and some depth that I think can make some moves for sure. Will you be backing Lehigh? Yeah, I mean for sure. I always back Lehigh. Why wouldn't I? Patriot League's one of my favorites, and Jordan Cohen I think is one of the best players in this conference. So yes, I will be backing Lehigh. Akinjo is a good on-ball defender. He shut Baldwin down last year. Okay. I mean, obviously you guys don't agree with me. That is what it is. You got to bring Donnie on with you. Yeah, I don't know where you've been. I mean, he's on every day with me. So I don't know. Some of you guys seem like you're like oblivious to what I do. It's weird. I don't know if you watch my shows or what, but yeah, Donnie's on every day. I don't know what you mean. Who's the best team in town? Well, Villanova's not in town. The best team in town is probably Penn. Penn is a good team. They're probably the best team in Philadelphia. But yeah, so there you have it. I mean, it only works, guys, if we get some participation. There is some participation here, which is good. We'll obviously kind of get more and more into college basketball as the season gets closer and closer. But I get it. There's just not a ton of interest right now. People are, they love watching football, and that's where it is. It's interesting how kind of the love for basketball comes so quick. But we'll be here when it starts. You can expect a show every day at 5 o'clock Eastern, which is going to be exciting. I'm going to say it now. And again, if you don't follow me anymore because of it, that's your prerogative. But I am going to be selling picks. I mean, it's pretty simple. I'm going to have a website. It's being made right now as we speak. I have a web designer making it. I'm going to have a website that you can go to. You can purchase. It's very simple. And you're going to get great content. You're going to get great picks. And you're going to get hopefully a winning season with write-ups and all sorts of stuff. So, I would hope you join me for it. I expect to do some big things with it and have a nice base of people. So, it's going to be easy to use. There's going to be one price. You pay the price and you get in. It's a monthly thing. It's very simple. We'll obviously do free shows as well, but the best picks are going to be sold. It's how I make money. It's how I do my thing. I can't work for free. Okay. I can't do all these shows for free. And again, I don't work for SBR anymore. All these shows that I'm doing are for free. I have sponsors that I'll be bringing up as the season gets here. But I got to make money. So I hope you support me. I hope you join me for that and come aboard. And when I have that info, you guys will have it as well. Thanks for watching. Thanks for checking out this quick 35 minutes or so of content. We'll continue to do more as the season gets closer and closer. Is the site supposed to be out in early November? Yes, it'll be out end of the month. So very excited about it. If you guys have any questions for me on a personal level, you could DM me on Twitter at Jeff Nadu. You can also email me, bmocsports@gmail.com. Again, bmocsports@gmail.com. Also, if anyone needs a promo code for a new book, please reach out to me. I do have a promo code for a book that I use, which I'll be start talking about very soon on all the shows here. So get in touch with me if you have any questions, and we can chat. Everyone have a great night. Thanks for watching.